For the audience, this is episode 2, Muscle Fix Mobile podcast. There you go. We can see you.
How are you guys?
Very good. Yourself? So,
Doing good.
This is episode 2 of the Muscle Fix Mobile podcast. You are our first outside guest. Very excited. We were trying to reach out to those in the fitness industry, get some perspective, because honestly, that's our core clientele. We want to dialogue, basically. So for everyone listening, we have IFBB Pro Rosario Romero. Say that
How
right?
are you guys?
I didn't butcher that. Okay.
Yeah.
And again, very excited to have you. So we understand, by the way, my name's Greg Barton. I'm the marketing director and a whole bunch of other titles for Muscle Fix Mobile. And this, of course, is Dr. Nicholas Kuzmanaski, the founder of the company, and it's really his brainchild. That's why we're all here today. But so we understand that you are both a mom and an IFBB pro. So why don't you tell us about that? Tell us about that. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I started competing about 5 years ago and got my pro card last year at the end of, or actually beginning of July. So I just got my pro card. And I am a mom, a single mom of a 10-year-old kid. So that's what I do. I'm doing my pro debut this year and probably going into, I'm going to do 3 competitions this year. I also have a full-time job.
Oh, wow.
So that's fun. Yes. So it's a lot of juggling, especially nowadays with homeschooling and all that stuff.
Wow. Impressive. So what do you do for your 9 to 5?
I do pharmaceutical sales. So I've been doing that for about 15 years now.
Oh, wow. Okay. Very, very cool. So how do you fit in your training schedule then? Obviously, you're multitasking right now, as we can see.
I am. I was asking Doctor, I'm like, is it okay if I do my cardio? Because, with homeschooling, I've been having to train later than normal. So I usually what I do is he goes to school, I work, and then once I'm done working, I fit in my training and my cardio. But now it's like I'm working from home right now because of the whole COVID situation. So it's a little different, but usually I train about 4 or 5 p.m. And then right now I have morning cardio and night cardio. So busy days.
Very exciting stuff. So do you compete mostly in the New York, New Jersey region, or do you compete across the country, or where do you?
Across the country. So I did probably, let me see, about 8 national shows before I got my pro card. 1, 2, 3, 4, actually 6 before I got my pro card. And now I'm going to compete pretty much anywhere. So when you're at a pro level, now you compete all over the US or all over the world, actually. So, and that's to qualify for the Olympia, which is in Vegas in December.
Oh, wow.
So hopefully.
Very nice. So what's your I guess bulking and cutting cycle like? Did you have like a very specific like regimen that you follow that you made for yourself, or?
I do. So I have a coach, and he pretty much dictates my routines and my diet. So my bulking season looks like a lot of food, to develop muscle and to perfect muscle and to work on weaknesses. And right now I'm in the cutting cycle because I'm competing in about 5 weeks. So, and it's very different. Diet's different, a lot more cardio, a lot less carbs, and just very strict diet.
So let me ask you this. I know a lot of guys who were more amateur than anything, no real pros like yourself, but a lot of guys have a lot of chronic pain, like nagging issues from years of heavy training. Do you experience anything like that?
I think as athletes, we all have injuries. I'm working through a couple of them right now. So I have a hip injury right now that I'm working through. I've had shoulder injuries, back injuries. I think it comes with the package, because you work so hard and then you're at a depleted stage sometimes, and you still have to work and push weight. So, it is what it is. What I do is I do get treatment. So I have my therapy every week. I go to my chiropractor And then I have a deep tissue person that works on my injuries and stuff that's hurting. So I do try and take care of myself. So that's very important.
Have you ever tried cupping?
I have, and I love it.
You love
Absolutely love it. Yes, it helps a lot. When I had a really bad shoulder injury, there was a lot of cupping done and scraping as well. So that pretty much took care of it. It took a while, but I love that procedure or process.
Oh, great. So did you get like more temporary relief from that? Like, you think that's fixed a lot of your long-term problems, or how has that gone?
I think it's pretty much immediate. Well, for me it was, but it was also a consistency thing. So the more consistent I did it, the more relaxed the muscles and blood flow was there. So a lot more healing went on.
Interesting. So you have that done locally here up in New Jersey or New York, or?
No, I'm actually from Texas.
Oh, sorry. My apologies. My apologies
for
understanding.
Yes. So I've had it done. I was telling doctor the other day, I'm like, I'm in Texas. But yeah, I have different people that work on me. So it's like a team of people that help me stay healthy and up and running. So.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, Dr. Nick over here, he was doing traditional physical therapy for years. He found that he did not think it was effective because of all the limitations on what he could do, and he wound up self-studying factor deep tissue scraping as well as cupping. And then over the past year and a half, really, dare I say, experimenting, has found that people that he's treated have experienced 80% relief. So what do you think, Nick? How do you differ versus, I guess, run-of-the-mill PT?
Well, as she mentioned, the power of ancient cupping that's been around for thousands of years has been the best thing I've ever discovered as a physical therapist personally and for my patients. The ironic problem we have with cupping is people get too good too quickly. So bad for business, but good for our patients. So hence the MuscleFix Mobile idea was created, where we actually travel, or myself travels to our clients really around the region, the New York, New Jersey, Hamptons area, because I get people are so busy as yourself, as real professionals, as mothers, as fathers, as just professionals. We're trying to do what we got to do and pursue passions and other side projects as you're doing. So congratulations to getting your pro card. And I think you're blessed and very lucky to have an incredible team there around you of providers that can help you with these incredible modalities of cupping, chiropractic care. I believe in a lot of acupuncture and natural holistic medicine, because at the end of the day, the training you're doing is real medicine. And forget about the physique and the looks and the bodybuilding, but more importantly, it's going to keep you around at 90, at 100 years old, still training bodybuilding and setting that example as a woman, as a mom, and as a professional. So congratulations and thanks for doing that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So speaking of Texas, we actually might be going to, what's it called, Nick? The Night of the Champions on November 14th, I believe. Have you heard of that show?
I have, yes. I'm trying to remember if it's in Austin or San Antonio, but I think it's in Texas for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm taking you're not going to be competing there based on the response. But we might be in town is the point. That's what we really want to do. Again, we want to reach out. We feel like the bodybuilding community could probably use the treatment the most compared to, the rest of us desk jockeys and whatnot. But I think it'd be awesome. So let me ask you this: how much has COVID-19 impacted your training, your schedule, and how you've been operating, I guess, for the past 5 months or 6 months?
It's impacted extremely much. I was set to compete. I started my prep at the end of November of last year, and I was set to compete for April. So 3 weeks out, or before my show, it got canceled because of all this. So all my prep was pretty much for nothing. Not for nothing, but I couldn't compete. So we had to go into a little bit of an off season because we didn't know what was going to happen. Then a few weeks later, what we did is we started cutting again. And I was supposed to compete in August. but my show got canceled. So
Wow.
now I've been prepping for most of the year, off and on, but pretty much on for the most part, just to stay in shape and be able to compete when I need. So now I'm set to compete October 3rd if nothing gets moved. So yeah, we'll see. But it's impacted a lot. And then the gyms were closed for a long time. So I had to work out of my home, which was challenging, possible, but challenging. So it's been a crazy year. I'm not going to lie. But, everything happens for a reason. So.
Very interesting. Like I myself wound up like doing some emergency last minute, like weight buying, just got the basics, couple dumbbells, got a bench, got like a dip bar and everything for the garage. Like, what about you? Did you already have like a home gym set up, or did you have to like rush?
I had to buy stuff and look for stuff. I had to harass people to get stuff. But yeah, I ended up getting a barbell and actually built myself a squat rack out of wood.
No kidding.
Yes, because I couldn't find one anywhere, and what I could find was extremely expensive. So I ended up, building a couple posts in the garage and just making it a squat rack for me. I bought some dumbbells, some plates, and just did what I could for a while till gym's open again. So it was interesting.
Like I obviously you were forced to change your workout routine. Did you find anything that you wouldn't have tried normally that you liked a lot? Like maybe doing some sort of crazy burpee routine or something that you have done normally, or?
No, when you stick to your diet, I think anything is possible, however you can do it. So I was doing my normal cardio. So I do have an elliptical at home. I have a treadmill at home. So that was there for me to do my cardio. And then my weights, that was a little different. So I had to change a little bit my routines. Instead of going heavy on stuff, I had to go a little bit lighter. So just changed up a little bit. But then I adjusted my diet too. So I was able to stay in shape and how I needed to. But
did you find oh, wow. I mean, did you find the result? I mean, so in other words, after adjusting for all these variables, you essentially felt like you had the same result, or you still felt like you needed to be back in the regular gym, or?
For sure needed to be back. There is nothing like pushing heavy weight for me.
Oh, I hear you.
And your body responds better when, you're an athlete and you're used to pushing heavy weight and doing certain things like squatting heavy and just having machines, it's not the same at all. So it's impossible to stay just in the same shape. Let's put it that way.
Very interesting.
I couldn't wait.
Still haven't opened the gyms yet in Texas?
No, they have. So right now I'm at the gym. So they've been open for, I think, about 3 months now, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Some of them have more restrictions than others. There's a couple of them I have to wear my face mask. This one you don't have to. So it varies depending on the gym, but they're open. There's just not, they have like a limited capacity. So.
Right. Social distance, right? Or something awesome
yes.
Like that, right?
So they have like every other machinist close up, So the two next to me are taped up, so nobody's there.
Thank God it'll clearly protect you in the event someone starts like sneezing from across
right.
the right? So what shows you're competing? You said October 3rd. What's lined up? What's the name of the event?
So that one is a Titans Pro in California, in LA. So that'll be my first competition. And then 2 weeks after that is a Chicago Pro. And that moved to Atlanta. Everything's being moved around. It's like playing a chess game right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the plan.
Nice. Very, very nice. Did you ever get any, have you ever been featured in magazines, like, or otherwise endorsements of that nature, or?
I have, when I started my bodybuilding career, a year later, I think it's a year later, I got featured in a magazine in Juarez. I'm in El Paso, Texas, so I'm border city with Juarez, Mexico. And I grew up over there, actually. So, yeah, so I was featured in that magazine. Other than that, a couple of local newspapers here in El Paso, but that's it.
Very interesting. Very cool stuff. Very exciting stuff. That's awesome. But that said, if you're ever in New York, assuming New York doesn't, stop existing, I guess, or go into apocalypse mode,
I'm sure it won't.
It's getting a little weird up there.
I'm sure it won't.
We'd be more than happy to give you a complimentary session, on the house.
Oh, absolutely. Whenever I'm there, I'm definitely gonna go see you guys. And I was there actually. That's where I got my pro card in New Jersey.
No kidding. Oh, cool.
In Teaneck. I competed in Teaneck, New Jersey in July, and that's exactly where I got my pro card. And I ended up staying for vacation. We went to New York with my son. That was fun.
Teaneck is not far from Nutley at all, actually.
Yeah, very close by.
That's where I competed and got my pro card. So I love New Jersey in New York.
Wow, really?
I do. My son too, though. He's like, I want to go back. We love it.
Listen, I'll switch. Hey, I'll go to Texas, and you could come to Jersey.
I don't know if you like it here, doctor.
So Nick, when she comes up, what are you going to do for her based on said ailments? What's the preferred treatment protocol, you think, off the top of your head?
It jumped out with her, and that I notice with a lot of our patients and people, including bodybuilders, 9 out of 10 injuries are soft tissue in nature, meaning muscle, tendons, and ligaments. It's not necessarily a joint or a bone problem. Especially when you weight train in bodybuilder, her bone density is significantly improved. So I'm not worried about her joints. What I would really focus on is just body work. And the 3 type of body work that we specialize in and do is cupping as a reverse massage, the deep scraping gua sha, which is the Chinese version of scraping. However, I do the scraping train, and so I break the tissue down while you train. So I treat you during your exercise regimen. So that's the unique thing that I'm certified in, which is a technique that was created for U.S. Olympic athletes. It's called Factor. So I do the treatment as you go through those provocative functional training positions. So it's kind of really interesting. So again, remember, I break down the scar tissue, the knots and adhesions. You rebuild the tissue. So we work together actively, interactively, and in a fun way. And then the last thing that I love, and my favorite is that you should definitely have, and I know you're using, is the vibration massage guns.
Yes, I have one of those. I love that thing.
Yeah, so those recovery guns, what studies are showing is pre, during, and post-treatment, it's a handheld massage therapist to save you a lot of money and time and to do body work, because that is just as important what you're doing in the gym right now. So when you're not training, the name of the game is recovery, so you can train the next day, doubles, triples, whatever you got to do. So to keep you healthy at 30, at 40, at 80, and still competing and training. So again, understanding the importance of that as you go through your journey and your career, sounds like you're off in the right direction. And that's basically what we try to do with this. We're bringing Eastern Chinese treatment to the Western athlete. And Western athletes don't understand the power of traditional Chinese ancient medicines that have been around. In our country, shame on you, because pharmaceuticals have ruined our country. So there's a pill for, but ironically, you know that there's not a pill for everything. So that's why you're in the gym at 10 o'clock at night, crushing it. And you don't believe in popping a pill because there's not an easy way.
Exactly. No, I love, that sounds really good, actually. I've never had that type of treatment done that you do in between sets or working out. That sounds really great.
It's game changing. Again, if you're really even in the area on the East Coast, I would even try to make it out of your way. I mean, like, the sessions are absolutely incredible. We've been doing it for about a year now, like I said, mobilely. And again, we treat 24/7. So we treat as late as like 11 o'clock at night and as early as 3 o'clock in the morning because people are busy. So convenience factor is huge. And the crazy part is we're very, very affordable compared to like most of this type of work that LeBron James and all these professional athletes pay for. And that's what really intrigued me when I saw LeBron James and NFL bodybuilders, all these cupping marks on them. I'm like, hey, if these people are doing this, it must work. So I should learn this as a physical therapist. But the pharmaceuticals and the research is not there, unfortunately, because it's not very lucrative.
Right.
There's not big in big cupping. That's why big pharma is
Right.
big. It's not big cupping.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I appreciate, again, spreading the word and the knowledge of it for not only yourself but your colleagues and other, people that are competing at that level. Because again, my job is to keep you competing and on the floor and shows. I've never in my career shut down an athlete from training. Well, I think it's when a doctor says don't train, don't rehab. It's like you might as well stop breathing if you tell me that.
Yes. That's exactly what it is for us.
I don't shit about my up shoulder like I'm going to train and I gotta shut up.
Yep.
So, and that's my job, is to keep you going healthy through that without really having an injury. So really, ultimately, our treatment is a lot of preventative, which is a bad word in medicine. Preventative and maintenance. Most of our members, they treat with me regularly every 4 weeks. So I do a monthly membership or an annual subscription with my members and my clients. And that's what I do. They reserve their time every 4 weeks. And I go out and I see you at your gym, at your boat, at your house, wherever you need me.
So that sounds really great. I
So,
definitely
yeah.
need to make it up there.
So we know you had a hard stop for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. How are we doing on time? Do you think, we don't want to hold you up too much. I know you're
No,
in the
it's
middle.
up to you guys. It's so good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my last question, let me ask the last question, Greg, because I don't want to hold her up too much. And I got to get going too. It's probably past my bedtime as well. So
I was going to say, wow.
Yeah, so, well, that's an interesting thing. So, that's a good way to wrap up on sleep. And I always talk to Greg because he's in the corporate America, and unfortunately he doesn't understand. And I'm starting to learn the value and the importance of a good night's rest. How many hours a night are you sleeping?
So this is going to be, okay, let me tell you this interesting story. So towards the middle of the year, I was in between my prep, and I actually noticed a 4-pound gain weight in a week. So I knew something was going on, and I went and got blood work done. My cortisol levels were through the roof. Estrogen was a little high, but cortisol was really, really high. So the first thing my coach told me is like, how many hours are you getting of sleep? I was like, 4.
Oh, wow.
Average. Yeah, because, I had a lot of stuff going on with my son, my job, everything, homeschooling. So he's like, you need to get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep because you're not going to recover. Your muscles are not going to grow and your levels are not going to drop. So we're not going to get to where we want to get. So now I make it a point to sleep at least 7 hours a night, which is hard, trust me. I have so much stuff going on, but it's extremely important.
Oh, I hear you.
It's worth sacrificing. It's worth sacrificing, and you should sacrifice training and exercise for the sleep. It's that important because you're wasting your time pounding on the treadmill because if you're not giving your body a chance to heal, when we sleep is when we heal physically and mentally. So during COVID has given us an opportunity like no other opportunity before to give our bodies and our brains a chance to recover and heal and be at our finest and prime shape. And that's been game changing for me. Like now during COVID, I've actually had an opportunity as we've been working with the business and spending more time with the kids and my wife and, bedtime like 9:30, maybe 10, the latest if we want to get really crazy and party. That's it. God meant us to sleep basically from 11 to 5:36 and then start training, working, whatever it is. So hopefully understanding the importance of that. And that's going to take you to that next level because all the other pros don't do that because, again, they don't have the time because we think we're just cool adults. We don't need sleep. But why do our kids need so much sleep? And we emphasize that to them. But all of a sudden, when we have busy adults and parents, we don't value that importance of that. So your coach is right. And make sure you get some sleep.
Thank you. You too.
Word to the wise. Well, thank you so much. It was great having you. We really appreciate your time, and it's been wonderful. And we hope we do this again sometime.